So, Trisha, it's absolutely lovely to see you again. And it's been a little while. A lot of the members have been asking for you. They've been looking for some of your recipes and they've been enjoying those that you've sent to us all through the years, quite a number of them now, quite a collection. So, look, we couldn't wait. When we think of November Bliss, and we think about comfort and resting of our body and of our soul and of our mind and everything else. We have to go to food. It's one of the most important areas. And I particularly love that you always say food is medicine, Trisha, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have a lot to tell us.
And particularly this time of the year, I suppose, after if we had excesses on holidays, and we just need to just take it easy now with food prior to the excesses that's going to happen at Christmas. So we just need to rest our gut for a while with nourishing food and not overload it with, which is now the buzzword, isn't it? HPF, highly processed foods. I'm for years telling everybody, look at the back of the label, and avoid sugar. But now it's the buzzword. So I was laughing. My brother-in-law came out the other day and he looked at me and he said, do you know what HPF are? Yes, I do. I said, they're highly processed foods. I'm checking all the labels now. I said, Tommy, I told you that 10 years ago. So there we go.
Yeah, this is it. It's become, it's filtering into the sort of everyday understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so listen, when you think about, say, this time of the year, people often say, oh, well, I was able to have salads all during the summer. And now we're moving into a time when we talk more about comfort food and casseroles and soups. And, is there a way that we can do this in a healthy way? That comfort food doesn't necessarily have to be heavy and, overly, what would we say, starchy mashed potatoes and all of that kind of. What would you?
No. There's loads of comfort foods. You can have hot salads. I've a lovely few hot salads, which are very satisfying. And, you can load them up with all the good things like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds that will make you better. And then most people, when they think of comfort, they think of a big bowl of mash with big, rich beef piled on top of it. That's not what we're talking about. That's fine every now and again. But I think you're better off. But I'm the queen of soups. I swear by soups, And I suppose what I'm going to talk about today is making a bone broth. Now, you can buy it in a carton, but it's highly expensive. I think it's nearly €6, and it should be less than half a pint. So it's not really on. So what I would suggest to you is, if you have a roast chicken on a Sunday and you have stuffed it, okay, so not to get the bits of breadcrumb in your bone broth. Just when you all the chicken pulled apart, just use a bit of kitchen paper just to clean out the cavity if there is any stuffing left. Then load that into a pot and then add for the next few days. Now, not potato peelings, because they would make it too cloudy and starchy. All peelings like carrots, parsnips, leeks, etc. Anything you have. Now, if by chance you're not doing roast chicken for a dinner and it is only too easy, sometimes you might say, oh, well, we wouldn't eat a roast chicken. The quickest way to do it is buy a thigh and a drumstick. They're very cheap at the moment. And just pull the skin off them. It comes off quite easily because that will stop the broth being greasy. Okay. And throw them into the pot with all the vegetables that you can think of. And put it on the boil. Bring it to the boil and let it simmer for about 4 or 5 hours on the back of the stove on a very low heat. And about half an hour before it's finished, throw in a dash of balsamic vinegar. This pulls the collagen, the most important bit, out of the bones. It'll do wonders for your skin and for your bones, for everything really. So that's just a little tip. Okay. Now I have a beautiful. I don't like the word stews, and it's not really a casserole. I'm going to call it a bowl. I have a chicken. We'll call it a chicken bliss bowl because that's what it is. But it's chicken using that broth when it's ready, but putting in all the other essential things that we need, like ginger, garlic, turmeric, and of course with turmeric, you always give 2 or 3 good grinds of black pepper on top of it. That's to activate the healing power of turmeric in whatever dish you're doing. So, and then add all the vegetables and our chicken. And you could add some baby little potatoes to that as well. And we'll say carrots, leeks, celery. Celery is great as a, for draining the the lymph
Yes.
glands. So that's, and you could have that. It's better after 2 or 3 days, but like you could make a good pot of it. At the moment, Lidl have, not that I have shares in any of these places, I don't, but I just like pointing out when there's something good value. Lidl at the moment are doing chicken thighs and drumsticks, boned out, skinned and boned out. I think they're about €3 for a tray. Extremely good value. And of course, there's more flavour off the thigh and the drumstick than there is ever off a chicken breast. So maybe you might get those and put those into your. I'll be posting up the recipe anyway. And the other thing then is with the bone broth. I had a friend who got pneumonia and she wasn't in a fit state to cook or do anything. So all she did was she got the neighbour to get her a chicken and she threw it in a pot with nothing else. And she just drank the broth off it for a whole week because she wasn't able to stomach anything else. And she said it made her better. So,
Oh,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
So food is indeed medicine, Trisha. It's really the first thing to call when you're well, or when you're looking to sort of benefit yourself nutritionally and deeply, which is what we're really thinking about this month.
Yeah.
So you're really good on alternatives. I always love this about you, Trisha, that you're great when anybody has, say, a dairy intolerance or gluten intolerance or anything else, or even whether we're cutting down on sugar, we're doing all concentrating on all of those. So, for example, if somebody particularly loves, we'd say, has a bit of a sweet tooth, what would they do, say, for dessert? What would you consider just?
And I wonder if I'm looking at that person with the sweet tooth. Yeah. Actually, no, I haven't a dessert for you, but I have a giant cookie, which I will post for you, which you can cut in 4 and just savor and relish it. Have maybe a quarter every day, or if you don't feel like it, if you're still not up, if you're still not feeling well, just leave it there. It'll last for a week in the tin, but it's full of nutrition. It's a big oatmeal cookie, right?
Yes. Super idea. And that's great because as well as that, if one of the things we might consider doing for the month is you have this great smoothie, a green smoothie, and you're always talking about the benefits of kale and spinach and cabbage. Do you recommend anything in particular in that way, or should we be having it at soups at this time of the year, or how?
Well, I'm not a great one for smoothies. To be, I'll be quite honest with it.
Yeah.
When you look at Claudia McKenna on her newsletter, and she jumping around the place, maybe I should follow suit with her green juice every morning. But I put everything into soups, like that soup I'm talking about, or that stew I'm talking about, like kale, cabbage, sorry, I beg your pardon, kale, cabbage, and even the tops of carrots can go into it.
But do you have you've always got some great ideas. You're full of kind of philosophical ideas about food and eating and what's good for us and what isn't. So is there anything that is what's your favorite kind of wintertime or kind of resting time food?
As I say, I love soups, and that whole mean giant biscuit I'm going to put up would do me for a week, just to take a small taste. Or failing that, to get 70% dark chocolate.
All for that.
And leave it in the fridge, and 2 squares of that. That would satisfy. But make sure it's 70%.
Yeah.
A lot of those flavored ones that you see in supermarkets could be as low as 30%. So make sure there's a good 70%. Yeah. My bugbear would be, well, we don't have it in this house, is sliced pan. That should be thrown out. That's not bread at all. It's dreadful stuff. And if you haven't time to make your own brown bread, I mean, the Cambridge's one, the one that's sliced that you'll get in all the supermarkets, is a good second choice.
But jump in there, because there is nothing in the world, and anybody who has made it for themselves knows better than the Tower House bread that your particular recipe for Tower House bread have. So, and I will send, if with your permission, I will send out to everybody, because
absolutely,
that is just the most wonderful. In our house, we make it a couple of loaves every sort of couple of weekends, and we slice it and put it in the freezer, just taking out what we need, because that it keeps us beautifully. It is full of everything that's good for you and takes away the craving for bread that most of us have, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, as I say, sliced pan, I don't give a hoot who he is, if he's Mr. this or Mr. that. If you look at the ingredients, I always say if there's more than 5 ingredients on the back of the pack, you're in trouble. Because all that should be in bread is flour, yeast, and water. That's all that should be in bread. Nothing else. Not dextrose, not flavors enhancers, not all these things that are doing you no good. So if you can't get the brown bread, the next best alternative is sourdough. Now, that's after being, excuse the language, bastardized as well. Everyone is going out now getting sourdough. And we'll say it's €2. That's not sourdough. That's like bicycle pump chickens. Because to make proper sourdough takes 2 full days. And there's no way that you could sell it for €2. So again, Dunn seem to be doing a very good one. Little do one as well. Yeah, but there's a lot of them out there calling themselves sourdough because they have aerated it and it has little gaps in it that mimic real sourdough bread. But you'll know the minute you taste it that it's not sourdough. And again, that has to have 49 different additives in it to make it look like that or to make it taste like that. And you know how I always get up my high horse about low fat. Stay away from low fat because it's more low fat than I am. You know, they have to add especially sweeteners in some form of sugar to make it taste as if it is, you know, very bad for you, really. So I suppose stick as close to nature as you can.
Thank you so much for coming and speaking to us today and bringing us the benefit of your lovely recipes and suggestions for how we can actually take care of ourselves and nourish ourselves. Again, I say, you always say food is medicine. And the other thing that you always say is eat, if you possibly can, local and in season.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, as I say, I used to always give the example of, you know, eating strawberries on Christmas Day from Guatemala. Now, hello, you're only going to be eating balls of water, you know. They're not strawberries. They're not like the ones you buy off the side of the road from Wexford. But, you know, or the other thing is French beans. Where did I see? They came from Kenya. Now, look, there's no, you don't have to buy organic. The dirtier the veg is, the better. You know, if you can go to a farmer's market or just if you can get, like, there's loads of, we'll say, places doing a veg drop, maybe for €15 a week a box, that they pick only what's in season on their farm and they drop it off to you. Now, I got a few people going on that, but one husband said to me, "Oh, Jesus, she has a head driven life in me because she has to take a picture of the veg because she doesn't know what they are. And then she has to look up recipes." But sure, I said, that's expanding our culinary delights, isn't it? Oh, yeah, he said, I suppose.
Listen, I just can't wait for this podcast to get going. And as soon as it does, we will make sure that everyone who knows you and loves you will definitely be subscribing to that. So get that up and running for us as soon as possible. Hopefully we can look forward to that in early 2025, while you and your co-producer, presenter, and get that out to us so that we can look forward to hearing lots more wisdom from you, Trisha, the gourmet goddess. Trisha, thank you so much for joining us from the Tower House today. And I look forward to maybe dipping in and out from time to time. You're going to send us on a couple of recipes and we will make sure to get them out to everybody as well.
Lovely. Anytime, girls. Be good.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.